Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. It's morning for me. I'm super jet lagged. So my body keeps waking up at 3 in the morning, which is like 3 in the afternoon, US. So I figured I'd capitalize on this awake in the middle of the night thing to talk to my peeps in the US because I miss you all so much. My God, I could get teary. We had the most incredible circle of midwives and students, birth workers in Galveston, Texas for the first Midwifery Wisdom experience. It was epic. It's seriously epic. Hey from Maui, thanks Mama Kay. You were such a big part of it being epic. Love you so much. Gosh, hi beautiful people. I see people joining who I know and love. Hi people. Hi. Melanie. Hi friends. Stacia. Hey. I know you. Well, I came on to talk about something real. So, I definitely want to chit chat and talk about how amazing the conference was. But I also want to talk about something that's in one of the social media posts or groups that I follow. And it's a really real and important post. And so it goes something like this. A busy birth worker posted something like, it's really lonely out here. It's like, does anyone feel the same way? And I wrote back whew, yes, and stay the course. Do whatever it takes to take care of yourself, at least as well as you take care of your clients, so that you can keep going. Because we desperately need midwives on the front line, opening birth centers, opening practices, there on their knees, at the perineum, doing the work, prenatal care, lactation consulting, answering all the questions, holding the front line of this revolution so that more can join them, right? If they don't hold the line will get pushed back. And we've seen this happen over generations. So we definitely need midwives to stay where they are, and I say this with a huge amount of humility because I crashed and burned. I could not hold the front line. And the year that I closed, 4 other birth centers closed in Oregon. And I know that we lost 11 senior midwives that year, the year that I left. It was a terrible year. It was the year the Affordable Care Act was implemented and lots of midwives crashed and burned because we couldn't make any freaking money. But I haven't kept track of it since then. But here's what I want to say. A very lovely, kind midwife wrote back being like, yes, and I haven't yet figured out what self-care means. And so that's what I'm here to talk about. There is a huge misconception that self-care has something to do with bubble baths and spa days and shit like that. It does not. In fact, that is actually just feeding the capitalistic machine. That has nothing to do with caring for your soul, your reason for being here, your purpose. And so I want to talk about what it is and what it does mean. And I also want to tell you about ways that you can learn more about this with me because I'm super committed to this, all in. The way that I was all in taking care of mamas until it almost broke me. I have reevaluated and I've stepped back a minute, but I'm all in with midwives. And now I midwife midwives and I'm so happy to be here. And if you're just joining, hey friends, good to see you all. Tell me where you're tuning in from and tell me what your biggest challenge is with self-care, because that's what we're talking about. So Mama Kay's here. Mama Kay is an incredible self-care expert. And she cares for others because her cup is full. And I got the honor and the privilege of being cared for by Mama Kay just a couple weeks ago, and I love you. Thank you. If you're just tuning in, wave to me, send me a little emoji, tell me where you're tuning in from. And we are talking about real radical self-care. Not spa days and bubble baths. That can be fun. Not massages and foot baths and, your favorite chocolate croissant. That could be fun too, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Okay? So what I want to tell you, and this is my biggest kind of secret, I guess. It's not a secret. I want it not to be a secret. I want to scream it from the rooftops. But it's kind of a secret because nobody seems to understand this. So I'm trying to share it. Here it is. Ready? I'm taking a sip of my morning coffee because it's like 6 a.m. here. Okay, here's the secret. The secret to self-care is the word no. There, that's it. So simple, not so simple. It's deceptively simple. It seems obvious, but it's hard to put into practice. And it's hard because midwives, nurses, mamas, women in general, if you were raised in a femme-normative society, you were trained to ignore your own needs, wants, and boundaries. And in fact, many people in school systems, in healthcare systems, in parental systems violate children's boundaries all the time. All the time. Physically violate them, grab them, shove them, spank them, etc. Emotionally violate them by saying, you're not really hurt, sit down, you're fine. Psychologically break their boundaries by not listening, not hearing, not believing. Mentally, right? Getting scored on a test itself is a violation of our human rights and our boundaries to be intelligent, smart, happy, beautiful people. So I had a lot of that, and I've worked for the last 10 years, but especially in the last year, to really figure out what this self-care thing was all about. Because if I didn't figure it out, I was going to die. Whew. I didn't know I would get so emotional, but that's how important this is, and that's how emotional this can be. So I'm here on my own private page, talking to my own private little circle of people. But I hope it goes really far and wide. And I hope that living out loud the way that I do can be a roadmap for those of you who are struggling. So let's recap. There's some new people here. Hi, I'm randomly crying on the internet. It's good to see you too. I'm not sleeping much. That's part of it because I'm super jet lagged and I'm in a time zone that doesn't match what my body wants to be in. But I'm really serious about this, and I'm gonna keep talking this for the rest of my life probably, because I'm all in with the midwives who are struggling. So here's the deal. The secret to self-care is the word no. And the big extra little asterisk, the little caveat on the back of that is who you say no to. And if you do a really clear self-evaluation of the last 5 years, hell, even the last 5 minutes, you might notice a pattern, and that is that you're saying no to yourself. And there's the problem. That's why everyone feels burnt out, exhausted, resentful, guilty, overwhelmed, right? These are all the emotional symptoms of being burned out, of having boundaries being crossed. So when you are the one crossing your own boundaries, you have the solution. It's really painful to look at, and I say this with a huge amount of humility because this is what I've done. When you get trained to break boundaries, and again, all women in our society have mostly been trained this, and then some of us have extra family of origin toxicity that makes it even more powerful. But when you're trained this way, you eventually internalize that abuse, really. It's abuse. You internalize it, and then you do it to yourself. in the form of denying your privilege of sleep. Or I should rather say treating sleep like a privilege, treating rest like a privilege. It's not something you have to earn. You don't have to earn the break. You don't have to do it. They've convinced us, capitalism has convinced us that we're only valuable when we're producing. And that's the real problem, right? So coming back to the real core of this is that you are important, you are valuable, you are necessary, you are needed, you belong, even if you do nothing. And I think that's the really radical idea. The fantastic thing about being a human, though, is that there's just this wellspring of desire and invention and creation, and we get to just like imagine, what do we want to do each day when we're clear? Like, nobody actually sits on their ass all day, every day, when they're clear. So when you feel that resentment building, like you don't even want to go do this thing, this calling that you love, you don't even want to go to the next birth, or a day of prenatals makes you cry, you're not clear, you're not centered, you're not centering yourself. Those feelings of resentment, burnout, frustration, anger, embarrassment, guilt, all of that says that you're overwhelmed, you're overworked, you haven't said yes to yourself. Which means, again, the solution is no, and who you say no to is basically everyone else. That's what self-care is. Self-care, radical self-care, is no thank you, no I'm not interested, not today, I can't, no. That's what radical self-care is. And you can do that. Start small. Start small. It's a really powerful practice, and it's actually a practice. You have to do it like literally every day. You have to say no. You have to say no. I mean, those of you who are at the conference with me will remember this. I said no, like to all kinds of things. I sat in the midwife's circle area once, and that was like on Thursday night before the whole thing even started, really. And I didn't go out drinking, and I didn't go out karaokeing, and I didn't go out dancing. I didn't stay up past 9 o'clock the whole time of the conference. And I know I missed out on some really amazing connections and midwives singing and dancing. I know I missed out on that. But I know that if I say no to those things, I can say more yeses to me. And then, of course, my practicing in action really got tested because after doing all the things, 5 days in, my health took a little bit of a turn, and I had to not teach one of the things I wanted to teach, and I had to stay in bed for almost 48 hours at the conference. I had to get IVs. I cried a lot. I had to miss the opening ceremonies of the retreat that I planned. And I really could have, like all of us, I could have muscled through. I could have pushed myself to show up with my mask on and be fully present. I could have done it, like I've done a million times throughout the years. But that saying yes to everyone else would have been saying no to me and my actual physical needs. And this is the magic. And I didn't know it. I didn't know it until I started practicing it myself, which is why I feel compelled to bring it to you all. It's life-changing. Saying yes to yourself and no to all of the extra, honestly, almost no to everything you can, is life-changing. It brings rest and peace. It brings space. And it cultivates that thing called self-love, self-care in a way that, nothing else does. They say words are stronger than, or actions speak stronger than words, right? You know the saying? Here it is. I could say, you need a rest now, Augustine. Like, you've had a hard day. But then if I keep doing, I'm not resting, I'm not actually demonstrating to my inner self that I prioritize myself. I'm demonstrating that I prioritize everyone else. And that's what leads to burnout and exhaustion. And that's what leads to losing incredibly valuable, life-changing, world-changing midwives from this profession. It's what leads to birth centers closing. It's what leads to us constantly being in this stagnation of fighting for ground and losing ground because we keep losing ourselves. So here's your little Sunday evening love note from me. It's my tagline. I say it after every conference and every consulting and every webinar and everywhere that I am with midwives. I say this, and so I'm going to say it all to you right now. Please take as good a care of yourself as you do of your clients. We need you. We desperately need you. And only you can take care of you. I love you all. Thanks for showing up. Do the self-care thing. Practice saying no to everything else. That's what it's all about. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be home. I'm really happy to be plugged into my community. We had a Friendsgiving when I got here. Let's see, lots of beautiful people waving at you. Oh, yes. Hi. Self-care is divine work. You're right, Mama Kay. That's what it's all about. Yep. Love it. San Diego, California. I'm struggling to take care of myself and nurture my pregnancy and birth work. Oh, friend. Yes. Gosh. Being pregnant while you're working is so hard. So hard. I mean, doing the birth work, I'm not sure it's easier when you're like stocking shelves or like pumping gas. That's also hard while you're pregnant, but being in it with other people when you're trying to be in it with yourself is super hard. Here from Seattle, I try to hold boundaries as sacred. Yes, my friend, boundaries are sacred. Yay, Melanie from Wisconsin. My self-care includes boundaries, delegation, and sacred yes, holy no mentality. That's right. So I promised I'd give you, if you wanted to learn more with me, and that is to take the Birth Business Masterclass with me. I only offer it once a year. It starts February 1st. It goes on sale today, tomorrow, whatever day, Monday when you all wake up. And tomorrow only, it's 30% off. And that's the only time I offer the sale in the entire year. You will join a group of over 50 other graduates, midwives who've worked to bring sustainability and balance into their lives, build a practice or grow a practice that is actually sustainable. So I invite you to come join me. It's all on the website, midwiferywisdom.com. And I love you all. That's all I want to say. Yeah, I love you all. Thanks for being here. Radical self-care. That's what it's all about. Okay, friends, I love you all. Have a fantastic evening. Take good care of yourselves. Like, if not you, who? Bye, friends.